were you from the defense background?
I was thinking of becoming a doctor because my parents wanted me to be a doctor. So in fact, we were 3 boys in the class and we all 3 were very good in academics. I distinctly remember August 1982 edition of CSR had a full page photograph of Jaguar aircrafts. Indian Airforce had recently acquired Jaguar aircraft. So we were seated in the library and we were now very enamored looking at those machines, and we all started bragging, trying to tell others that how we can become fighter pilot. NDA training was more physical in nature. It was basically to toughen you up mentally, physically, bring in regimentation and inculcate the spirit of jointmanship. During our times, when we went to Air Force Academy, we were 100 cadets joined Air Force Academy, and eventually we were only about 50 who could pass out. So there was an attrition, and including one unfortunate accident, and we lost one of the cadets during training. Attack happened in 2001, and in 1998, both India and Pakistan had carried out nuclear tests. So now both the nations were declared nuclear nations. So the Western world was quite worried that nuclear-powered nations should not go to war. Also, on 31st October in year 2001, that is just 2-3 months prior to Parliament Attack, there was another attack which had happened in J&K Legislative Assembly, and we had lost about 38 people over there.
Sir, what is battle inoculation sortie that happens?
Inoculation basically, it's a word which is taken from medical side. HOTAS, hands on throttle and stick. So you would have a dozen buttons on your stick and on your throttle. By sheer muscle memory, you should be able to reach instinctively that particular switch and operate it at the right time so that you don't, press the wrong button. So way back in 1989, I still remember, and we had one wing commander, Ranbir Singh. He was flying MiG-21 for a low-level mission, and they were carrying out certain tactical maneuvering. And in one of the maneuvers, he pulled G very fast, and his body was not very well prepared for that. He went into a G-lock. And because he was extremely close to the ground, when he regained consciousness, he was flying just few feet above the ground, and there was a building right in front of him, and he was going into it. So he saw that, he pulled the stick back, his aircraft yanked up, hit the roof of the building, and then thereafter crashed on the ground. He was very lucky to have survived.
Oh, he injected.
He did not eject. He did not have time to eject. He was just lucky that his aircraft crashed and he just walked out of that crash.
We see fighter jets in air shows. We hear patriotic music in films. But we rarely meet the air warriors who actually guard our skies for real. Today's guest is one of them, Air Vice Marshal Anil Sabharwal, and his story deserves to be heard. Let's dive in. आगे बढ़ने से पहले इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब ज़रूर कर लेना सो दैट हम आपके लिए और भी ज़्यादा इंसाइटफुल और इंटरेस्टिंग एपिसोड लाते रहें. एंजॉय द शो. Sir, welcome to Soul Talks with Bhaavin. It's an absolute honor to have you on our show.
Bhaavin, thank you. I'm myself very honored to meet a young professional like you, and it's good to come and talk to you here.
Sir, your journey, it's not just about flying jets. It's about discipline, courage, and serving the country. And to take this entire journey and convey this journey to our audiences in the purest form, first time we'll have this episode in 2 parts. We'll release this episode in 2 parts. First part would be majorly we'll talk about the journey, your life journey, the missions that you are into, the academy days, and about the warfares that we have. In second part, we'll go basically deep dive into the defense strategies and global air operations that we have done. Sir, to begin with, were you from the defense background, or how was your childhood? Take us through that journey, please.
So, Bhavan, I was from a very conventional, very loving joint family. हमारा घर अपने नानके के पास में था, and grandmother, mamas, their children, we all were living in near vicinity. Most of the people in my family were from education background. My grandfather was a teacher. My mother was a headmistress in a government school. My father was an engineer working for Kelvinator India Limited. So essentially, we didn't have anybody from armed forces, leave alone Air Force, in our family. Wanted me to be a doctor, and my initial plan was to be a doctor. I was good in academics.
So, sir, when did you decide that you wanted to be a part of, or you wanted to pursue as a pilot?
There's a very interesting story on that. Like I just told you that I was thinking of becoming a doctor because my parents wanted me to be a doctor. So in fact, we were 3 boys in the class and we all 3 were very good in academics. Me, Gulyani, and there was a guy called Magum, Rakesh Magum. I distinctly remember August 1982, we were in our school library, and at that time, Competition Success Review magazine, that used to be our Bible.
Okay.
August 1982 edition of CSR had a full page photograph of Jaguar aircrafts. Indian Airforce had recently acquired Jaguar aircraft. So we were seated in the library and we were now very enamored looking at those machines, beautiful machines. And we all started bragging, trying to tell others that how we can become fighter pilots. So that's how, the thought germinated in mind. We just went ahead and filled up the National Defence Academy forms.
All 3 of them?
All 3 of us.
Okay.
And all 3 of us wrote the exam. Only I could clear all the 4 stages, that is the written exam, thereafter the service selection board. In fact, it was so funny, this is the first time in my life I had stepped outside my house. For my SSB, I had gone to Clementon, Dehradun.
Okay.
Thereafter medicals, and then making it to the merit list. The other friend, Gulyani, made it to army. The third friend dropped out and 6 months later joined Armed Forces Medical College again as a doctor.
As a doctor.
So, you see, success from one stage to another, that is initial return to SSB to medicals, and thereafter making it to the merit list, it all worked like an aphrodisiac for me.
Yeah.
And there was no looking back thereafter.
Sir, so when you told your parents कि मुझे एक fighter pilot बनना है, तो उनका reaction क्या था?
Oh, I still remember that day. There was absolute pandemonium at home, especially from my cousins and from my maternal uncles, so they were all very vehemently against. My father was neutral, but I think it was my mother and my grandfather who helped me stay on the course. My mother especially, she told me that if you take a dream, then have the power to fulfill that particular dream. And I think those words had a tremendous effect upon my thought process. I just went ahead and made sure that there was, I was doing well at every stage thereafter.
Sir, जब training earlier, आप जब early days in your academy, तो वो कैसे थे? We researched and got to know कि आपको best cadet का award भी मिला था वहाँ पे.
So the training in NDA, see, the initial training was in NDA, and then after you finish your NDA training, you go to Air Force Academy.
Okay.
NDA training was more physical in nature. It was basically to toughen you up mentally, physically, bring in regimentation, and inculcate the spirit of jointmanship. No, it's a unique institution. This is the institution where very young people, right at the nascent stage, Army, Navy and Air Force, come together and train together.
Correct, yes.
And we are grouped in different squadrons. So today there are about 18 squadrons over there. During our time, there used to be 12 squadrons.
Okay.
So you get divided in a group of about 120 to 100 cadets, and you go to A, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, like that in squadron. So I was in Hunter Squadron. It was a tough squadron. But the squadron spirit was absolutely phenomenal. There were chances that you could excel very well over there individually, but emphasis used to be on the squadron itself doing better. What I mean is that if I ran cross country and came right ahead of a lot of people, yes, it gave me a lot of shabashi, adulation. But if my entire squadron did very well,
Yes.
then we would win the trophy.
Correct.
So same was the case for each event, whether it is academics or it is horse riding or it is boxing or it is football. So doing it well and doing it well together was what we were taught. So that was basically to make the bond strong. Once we finished our NDA training, we moved for our service-specific training, which happened in Air Force Academy. And that's the way it happens now also.
Correct.
During our times, when we went to Air Force Academy, we trained on Hindustan jet trainers.
Hindustan jet train.
HJT-16, also called Kirans.
Ah.
Because HPT aircraft, piston trainers were available, but at that moment they were grounded because of some reason. So we directly came and started training on the jets. Of course, there was a lot of attrition at that time. We were 100 cadets, Air Force cadets, who joined Air Force Academy. And eventually we were only about 50 who could pass out. So there was an attrition, and including one unfortunate accident, and we lost one of the cadets during training.
Okay.
So the training now in Air Force Academy is specific. You learn how to fly. You read about the subjects meant for your service and related to flying. And after 6 months of training, then we were trifurcated, whether you get into the fighters or get into the helicopters or transports. And then there is a further training that happened. Now the next phase of training happened at fighter training wing, which was in Hakimpet, for the boys who were selected for the fighters.
Okay.
I was able to do very well in this side also, and it is here that I got the best trainee award.
Sir, so how do you decide ki this person is fit for fighter, this person is fit for your transport and the helicopter? How do you segregate those part?
So there are two parts to it. First is your own personal choice.
Correct.
So due weightage is given to your choice. You are asked what do you want to join. And second is that your instructors who are teaching you over there are constantly maintaining a watch upon your performance.
Okay.
See, for each type of flying, especially for fighter flying, you require certain single cockpit traits, which means you should be comfortable flying an aeroplane alone. Some people have that kind of a fear or some bit of a challenge, but they are good. It's not that they don't have the flying ability into them. So there are specific traits for which, aggression, your spirit, and your performance. So you have to do really well, and then thereafter you are asked your choice, and based upon all the factors that I just mentioned, you get segregated into the fighters, helicopters, or in the transport streams.
So, sir, how long this training takes place? What is the duration time of this training?
Yeah, so the training is divided in 3 phases nowadays. Firstly, things have changed from then to now. Today, the training happens on pilatus.
Okay.
So, moment the cadets come and join Air Force Academy, they fly the Swiss aircraft. It's a Swiss piston aircraft.
Okay.
Called the pilatus.
Pilatus.
So it's a very beautiful aircraft, very capable, very easy to fly, and cadets find it quite a good machine, and with this the rejection rate has also gone down.
Okay.
It's a very nice machine. So you do about 6 months of training on pilatus, and then thereafter you move forward, and for the fighters you move on to the Hawks. Okay, that is again Anglo-French machine, the Hawks 132, on which we carry out subsequent training, phase 2 training, and then thereafter there is a phase 3 training as well.
Okay.
The helicopter pilots move on to the basic helicopter. There's a helicopter training school where there is a further training given on Chetak cheetahs. And the transport, the boys who are selected for transports, they go to Yelahanka, where there is a further training which is given on Dorniers and on AN-32s and aeroplanes.
Sir, we were been doing some research. So in that research, we came to know that there are 7 commands that we have. And 5 are functional commands and 2 are operational commands. So, sir, what is the difference between functional commands and operational commands?
So let me first correct you. It is the other way around.
Okay.
You have 5 operational and others are the functional commands. So firstly, what happens is the country itself, being geographically very large, it is divided into different regions or the commands.
Okay.
So you would have, let's say, you look at map of India, towards the eastern side, where you have, spread right in Assam, and looking at the China border, you would have your Eastern Air Command.
Okay.
Then in the central parts of India, once again looking upwards towards the adversary, in the central parts of India, that is right, say, from Bhutan onwards, right up to, let's say, Uttarakhand.
Okay.
Okay, so this particular region, you will have Central Air Command, which is spread in this side. And then towards the west of the Central Air Command, you would have the Western Air Command.
Okay.
So the entire J&K region on the western side, Punjab, parts of Rajasthan, they all would fall under Western Air Command.
Okay.
Then moving down, you would have a Southwestern Air Command. Okay, so the entire Gujarat region. So from where, close to Bikaner somewhere, the area of Southwestern Air Command starts and runs right in the Kutch sector.
Okay.
And up to, say, Diu, Veeraval, and the entire region, and right up to, say, Bombay, you would be in the Southwestern Air Command.
Southwest.
Then you have a Southern Air Command. Okay, that is the entire Southern Indian.
Southern. It covers the Southern India part.
Southern Indian portion.
Okay.
Okay, and the other commands, so that's how you have different commands which are, organized geographically.
Correct, sir.
And these are all, let me tell you, operational commands.
Okay.
Okay. Then you have a training command. The training command is based out of Bangalore.
Okay.
The entire, the South India has got some of the best weather in the country. So all our training institutes, like our Air Force Academy, our fighter training wing, our helicopter training school, they're all based out of southern parts. In Bidar, we have all these facilities. So we have the training command, which is headquartered in Bangalore, and it operates from there, looking after the training needs, not only for the pilots, even for the ground duty officers. Okay, you have the entire training happens. It's kind of concentrated there. Over and above, you would also have a maintenance command. The maintenance command is in Nagpur, it is in central India. And their job essentially is to look after all the maintenance related requirements of Indian Air Force.
Okay.
All types of aircraft, radars, weapon systems, etc., which are being operated by the Air Force. For maintenance activities, the entire coordination which is required to be done would be done at maintenance command.
So, sir, operational command also means that they are mission ready.
Yes, you are absolutely right. So their mission, for example, in Eastern Air Command, or for that matter, the Western, this entire Operation Sindoor happened under the aegis of Western Air Command. It was real operations.
Real operations, yeah.
Okay. So similarly, whatever are the operations which are happening to ensure that the eastern borders, air borders of India are safe, are ensured by Eastern Air Command.
Okay.
And likewise in Southern Air Command and Southwestern Air Command.
So, sir, Eastern Air Command also takes care of Bangladesh border also?
Yes.
Yeah. So that entire China-Bangladesh factor comes into
You are
play.
absolutely right. That entire thing will be looked after.
Sir, in the training that you were talking about, sir, what is battle inoculation sortie that happens? And इसका purpose क्या होता है? मतलब mainly why do we do that? Why do the fighters do that?
As the name goes, battle inoculation. Inoculation basically, it's a word which is taken from medical side.
Achha.
You inoculate, you inject somebody against a virus, against a disease. So what you do is that you inject, a mild version of that particular virus, so that your antibodies they build up, and then your body is able to fight that particular disease.
Correct.
So in fighter flying, once you have mastered the art of flying the fighters, you have to be now battle inoculated, which means you have to be prepared for combat.
Okay.
So in air combat, there are different types of stresses. There is shock, there is stress, there is a lot of strain. So a pilot has to be now trained to feel the pressures of combat so that he is able to fight effectively.
Okay.
For that, you have to systematically help him move towards battle inoculation. So what we do is, we divide the exercise areas into two parts. You would have a red land and you would have a blue land. So in a day, firstly, the aeroplanes will get airborne from blue land. They would have a target in red land to destroy. After they get airborne, once they enter the enemy territory, there will be enemy radars which they will have to evade.
Okay.
There will be enemy fighters which will come and try to intercept them. They'll have to evade those enemy fighters, fight their way through, go up to the target and deliver the weapon load on the target, and then thereafter fight their way out, once again evading the enemy targets' radars so that they are back home. The next day, you could do a reverse practice. You would have a package coming into your country from the enemy, you would simulate, and your job would be to stop them from reaching their particular desired target release area or the weapon release area.
Okay.
So this is the training which is as realistic as possible towards the life scenario that a pilot is likely to encounter. Okay, the aim of doing all this is that slowly his confidence in his own machine, his courage in the air, his hand-body coordination, his muscle memory starts building up. Because in the pressures of combat, there is very little time for a pilot to now, look out for the maps or look out for. There is a lot of action which has to be done in the cockpit. You have to select pages, get onto the navigation mode, get onto the weapon firing modes, get onto releasing shaft, flares, etc. against the enemy which is coming to shoot you down. All this activity has to be done instinctively.
In a fraction of seconds.
In fractions of seconds. So you have something called HOTAS, hands on throttle and stick. So you would have a dozen buttons on your stick and on your throttle. By sheer muscle memory, you should be able to reach instinctively that particular switch and operate it at the right time.
Correct.
So that you don't, press the wrong button, which has some other effect than what you desire. So the entire aim is actually to help build up your confidence to be able to fight in a real battle. This is called battle inoculation.
So, sir, this happens regularly, or
yes, this is
it has
regular.
only a specific time ki itna
No,
hi
this
hoga?
happens regularly. In fact, all through. You see, in a fighter pilot's life, battle inoculation, for that matter, in other transports and helicopters also, battle inoculation is a part and parcel of our daily training. Only thing is the complexity of your exercises will gradually keep increasing. You don't straight away take a person and expose them to such an intense scenario.
Correct.
Initially, you would start with 1 versus 1, one aircraft fighting against another.
Correct.
After some time, then you will have 2 fighters against 1. Then you will have 2 fighters fighting against 2. And gradually the package strength will keep increasing till eventually you will come into the large force engagements wherein there will be big numbers of 40 aeroplanes fighting against 40 aeroplanes in the air and things like that.
It's huge. Sir, where do you do that?
So we have
a
earmarked-
specific?
Yes, we have earmarked areas.
Okay.
We have instrumented ranges on the ground. Okay, so there's areas which we specify beforehand whenever we carry out such kind of exercises, so that we don't clash with the other civil traffic and.
Correct, because there are a lot of civil traffics which happens in the air.
And the beauty of this entire thing is that we actually try to do these exercises, making them as realistic and live as possible. That means there would be real-time jamming that a pilot will experience.
Acha.
He would actually be carrying
Radio jammers.
Yes, there will be jammers which will be jamming him. There could be smoky SAMs. That means he could get some visual cues as if the missiles are being fired at him. He could be carrying ACMI, Air Combat Maneuvering Instrumentation Systems on board, wherein actually when a pilot fires a missile, he will get an oral warning that the missile has been fired, and the person who has got hit will also get a message that there is a missile which has come and hit you. So at every stage you are required to take certain actions. So later on you will come back and you will debrief whether what you did was right or what you did was not right. And debrief makes a very, very important part of a pilot's training, because that's when you actually start realizing where did you go wrong and what better you could have done. You could also be required to actually carry out a live weapon drop. So while you're doing all these things, you're actually carrying a weapon.
Live
That
weapon.
means a bomb.
Yes.
So you have to fight your way through, do everything, and then thereafter drop the bomb on the target, and you will be assessed on your accuracy. There's no point me going 500 kilometers inside, say, enemy territory,
Correct.
and dropping the bomb at a wrong place.
Correct, sir. Absolutely. So that precision counts.
Precision counts.
Sir, when you were talking about the missiles which are actually fired at you during your trainings also, तो ये सर मिसाइल्स के फेजेस होते हैं, इफ़ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. एक फेज होता है बूस्ट फेज जो होता है व्हेन द मिसाइल इज फायर्ड एट यू, देन इट इज़ अ कोस्ट फेज दैट हैपेंस, एंड द थर्ड द टर्मिनल फेज. तो सर जब हम बचने की कोशिश करते हैं, हाउ डू वी डॉज दिस मिसाइल? क्योंकि बहुत ऑप्शंस कम होते हैं एंड रियल लाइफ में लोगों को पता नहीं होता है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल नहीं, आपकी बात ठीक है. See, for a pilot, it is extremely important to realize when a missile has been fired at him, and he has to take evasive action. Earlier, the better. Okay, so his life depends upon realizing that a missile has been fired and then thereafter taking evasive action. Thank God, he has got systems on board which kind of warn him. So we have something called a radar warning receiver. So whenever enemy wants to fire at you, first he has to acquire you. So he would try to acquire you at a far away distance, for which he would use his radar.
Correct.
Radar is nothing else but energy propagated in the medium of air. So when that energy comes and falls on my machine, I have radar warning receivers which pick up that particular energy and they warn me that look, there is an enemy radar which is now painting you. So I start taking evasive action from that point onwards. I try to evade his radar either by altering my height, altering my geometry, presenting a different aspect to him, or creating a distance between him and me.
Okay.
And when he actually fires the missile, you can make out by a change in the tone of the RWR, and you come to know that now the missile has been fired.
Okay.
And at that moment, your aim is to once again give such aspects to the missile that you run away from it or you break its initial kind of a geometry. Okay, the missiles today, they are fired at a very high speed. And at a very high speed, it is difficult for the missile to maneuver in a very tight fashion. So depending upon the range at which the missile has been fired, you could take different actions. You could jink, you could dive down, you could, go towards... it also depends upon the type of missile which is coming at you.
Yeah, that's what my question was.
So if it's a radar-seeking missile, you'll probably fire chaff.
Correct.
Radar-assisted missile, you'll fire chaff clouds, which will present an alternative kind of a target, a stronger target, and the centroid will shift to.
So these are steel shells that
these are aluminium.
Aluminium.
These are very finely cut aluminium, small thin wires. Okay, glass coated.
Okay.
And these are the ones actually they have a specific size.
Achha.
Okay, that size actually is in commensurate with the size or the wavelength of the enemy radar which is trying to paint you.
Okay.
And what they do is actually they bloom very fast in the air.
Correct.
And then they present you an alternative target.
Correct.
But that is against the missile which is active. But if there is an infrared missile,
Okay.
then to that particular missile you will have to provide a hot signature. Okay, because the missile actually is coming in for your jet plume.
Okay.
So you would fire something called flares.
Flares.
So these flares are magnesium, burning candles. They will burn very rapidly and create a very high intense source of heat. And the infrared head seeker head of the missile will get kind of attracted and the missile will go towards.
Okay. And this everything is happening in a fraction of seconds.
Yes. It is all happening very fast, and that's why I said that you have to have a muscle memory. You have to be able to instinctively reach out and fire all this shaft flares, try and evade them. And mind you, while you're doing all this, you're getting pulled away from your actually intended path,
Correct.
which you are supposed to travel to go towards your target,
Yes.
or while you're coming out. So you have to, evade this particular threat, create separation, create distance, get back onto your navigation, go back towards your target.
And the clock is always ticking. So
Clock
you
is
have
always-
yeah. So then you have a time period which is there, but then you have to complete the entire part.
You see, you have gone there with a purpose. You have gone inside enemy territory with a purpose.
Correct.
Okay, it could be a static target, it could be even a time-sensitive target. You know what it means? Suppose you have an intel that you have enemy which is there in a particular house for a certain specific period of time.
Correct.
So there is no point you reaching there and dropping bomb once enemy
After
has
he's
moved
gone.
away,
Yeah,
after he
yeah.
has gone from there. Okay, so
Absolutely.
you have to be able to make good the time and deliver.
And sir, while you were talking about the missiles and how to maneuver things, sir, G-force के बारे में बात करते हैं, which is one of the subjects, and ज़्यादा civilians को इसकी बारे में पता नहीं है because ये publicly इतना बाहर नहीं आता है, but then it is very severe जब आप एक ट्रेनिंग भी कर रहे हो and you have been there in G-force, आपके लिए बहुत मुश्किल भी हो जाती है because whatever G the person is going, supposingly G7, G8, it is 6 or 7 times his weight that we are talking about. तो सर ये होता क्या है and क्या किस वक्त इसका ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल होता है?
G जो है, it's the force of gravity. Gravity, Earth pulls every object towards it, okay, with a force of 9.8 meter per second square. Okay, that is the acceleration with which it pulls any object towards it. So we are used to certain amount of gravitational pull on our bodies when we are on the earth. We term that as one gravitational force. As your G force in the aircraft keeps increasing because of sharp accelerations, centripetal, centrifugal forces during turns or while pulling out of the dive, your G forces start increasing. And your weight of everything which is being carried and your own body keeps increasing in a proportionate manner. What it means is that at 7G, if your helmet, which normally under 1G weighs 3 kgs, at 7G, the weight of your helmet will become 21 kgs. So while the weight of the helmet has increased so much, the strength of your muscles still remains the same. And this doesn't happen only to the helmet, even your hand. See, in the cockpit, you have to move your hand to operate certain switches.
Yes.
So imagine now your hand becoming 7 times heavier, but the muscle strength of the hand remains same.
Okay.
So first effect is that.
Okay.
And the second effect that happens is that under the G forces, the blood also gets pulled into your lower limbs.
Okay.
And the heart is not able to pump sufficient amount of blood towards your head. So you start getting lesser amount of blood in your head, and once you are deprived of that blood, you don't get oxygen for certain duration of time.
Okay.
You start getting tunnel vision. That means your peripheral vision is lost.
Okay.
If it carries on and you do not reduce the G forces, you could have a blackout.
Okay.
You could even suffer a G lock. It's a real problem. So if the onset of the G is very rapid, and if you are not prepared for that, you could very rapidly get into a G-induced loss of consciousness, which means that pilot will have no consciousness for that duration of time till the time the blood once again starts circulating back towards his head. And that time frame is very crucial. If you are flying close to the earth, you can crash.
Crash.
So way back in 1989, I still remember we were flying in Pathankot.
Okay.
And we had one wing commander, Ranbir Singh.
Hmm.
He was flying MiG-21 for a low-level mission, and they were carrying out certain tactical maneuvering. And in one of the maneuvers, he pulled G very fast, and his body was not very well prepared for that. He went into a G lock. And because he was extremely close to the ground, when he regained consciousness, he was flying just few feet above the ground, and there was a building right in front of him, and he was going into that. So he saw that, he pulled the stick back, his aircraft yanked up, hit the roof of the building, and then thereafter crashed on the ground. He was very lucky to have survived.
Oh, he injected.
He did not eject, he did not have time to eject. He was just lucky that his aircraft crashed and he just walked out of that crash. Many people are not so lucky.
Yeah.
So this is a menace, and all fighter pilots have to respect G. So we expose our pilots to this particular phenomena.
Correct.
And we also teach them how to fight against it. So there is a ways and means of fighting.
So sir, we have special training centers for
Yes.
this now?
Yes. So before the training, first and foremost is the flying clothing.
Okay.
So you will wear a NTG suit. This is a specially designed suit
Okay.
which has got air pockets, and it is wrapped around your lower limbs. So moment you start pulling G, the air, pressurized air starts coming in, and now it compresses your lower limbs so that the blood which keeps getting pooled there is now forced to be circulated back and pushed up into your abdomen.
So in any case, you should not let your blood go below your waist height while you are at the G.
It would naturally tend to see under G as you're being pulled, even you will be pressed into the seat.
Correct.
So the blood will also get pressed downwards.
Correct.
So you wear an NTG suit so that this pooling of blood doesn't happen.
Correct, sir.
Then you do something called a AGSM, NTG straining maneuver. Okay, so without going into the technicalities, there is a L1 maneuver, M1 maneuver. What you do is basically you tighten your abdominal muscles,
Correct.
calf muscles, abdominal muscles, and you carry out, a series of grunts like.
Okay.
So by doing this, by building up the pressure in your thoracic cavity and into the lower cavities, you are actually pushing the
Blood up. Yeah.
and you are also preparing yourself for the onslaught of the G, because the modern aeroplanes are very unforgiving. They can pull 9G, 10G,
Yeah.
and it is actually the human which has become the limiting factor. Now coming to your question of training.
Yes, sir.
You wanted to know the training.
Yeah.
So yes, we have a human centrifuge.
Okay.
It is at IAM, Institute of Aviation Medicine in Bangalore,
Okay.
where we send all our fighter pilots and we expose them to this high G training.
So, sir, what is the maximum that you have pulled?
I have pulled more than 9G.
Okay.
Yes, and I have flown MiG-29s,
Okay.
and we take pride in the fact that it's an aircraft which is capable of pulling 9G and sustaining 9G. So that used to be a specific exercise where we used to be taken up to those particular limits. See, understand, we don't do this every day. It's not that, we get into a cockpit and start pulling G.
Yeah.
It will be under certain specific circumstances.
Correct.
For example, when you're in air combat, you're fighting against an enemy. Or when you're pulling out of a dive after dropping your weapons.
Correct.
Have you seen this Top Gun 2?
Top Gun 2, yes, I have.
So when Maverick
Correct.
drops the weapon
Drops
and
the
after that he pulls out
Correct.
with 10G.
Correct, sir.
So that's exactly, kind of a thing.
Sir, let's talk about Operation Brasstacks. So, then your role was more specific into that operation. How was it? What was it? People don't know about it.
So it's
I'm
so
pretty
interesting.
sure,
I think
yeah.
you've read my biodata very well. That's why, that's why you're asking about Brasstacks, of all the operations. Okay, so Operation Brasstacks, it's an operation which is perhaps the largest military exercise which has been carried out by Indian Armed Forces.
Okay.
I would say in the history of Indian Armed Forces. The largest military exercise. More than 5 lakh troops participated in that particular exercise.
Okay.
So, and this happened in November 1986 and carried on till March 1987. I had got commissioned in December 1986. So it started about a month before my commissioning. And immediately post my commission, I got posted to a fighter squadron, which was already in the midst of Operation Brasstacks. Okay. So General Sundarji wanted to test his theory of mechanized warfare. So he had moved all the armored mechanized columns along with infantry. And so the Air Force also was deployed in large numbers, basically for carrying out closer support missions in support of Indian Army. And this entire massing of troops had happened in Rajasthan, Punjab and Jammu area against the western adversary. So because of the sheer number of the combatants that were moved, the opponent, that is our adversary, was very alarmed. And they in turn had also moved a large number of personnel. So they also moved close to about 3 lakh troops of their own in the forward locations. So I mean, imagine in your mind you have more than about 8 to 9 lakh troops in close vicinity, reaching in eyeball to eyeball kind of a situation. So it was alarming. And after some time in March, the Prime Minister then decided that they will call off that particular exercise. But during that particular time, the Air Force was quite geared up. I had done a lot of actions to support Indian Army. And personally, I'll tell you, because your question was to me, what was my role, what was I doing? So I was doing what the Air Force was doing, because I was an Air Force pilot. We were in Pathankot. We had, firstly, Air Force had already mobilized, and a lot of augmentation of manpower, of aircraft, of certain weapon systems had taken place. So when I reached Pathankot, the place was brimming with officers and with men. In fact, there were so many officers there at that moment that initially we did not have a place, an individual room to sleep. So first night was spent in the bar.
Oh.
We were 4 or 5 of us who spent the first night over there. And of course, next day we got our rooms where 3 of us shared for a few days. Next few days, I was made the duty officer, and every night we used to carry out patrol of Pathankot Air Base. Throughout the night we used to be patrolling Pathankot Air Base so that there is no infiltration that could happen from anywhere. After doing that for a few days, then I was made in charge of painting the aircraft. Now this is very interesting. At that time, we used to have the tails of the fighters used to be painted red, green, dots, big colored, yellow dots, red dots, so that it becomes easy to recognize the aircraft during combat.
Okay. Our aircraft. Basically.
Our own aircraft during training.
Yeah.
But now, in a warlike scenario, we cannot afford to have painted tails because the enemy will be able to pick us up from a distance.
Yes, of course.
So it was my job to remove the old paints, the training paints, and convert the aeroplanes into camouflage painting. So for next 1 month, we painted all the aircraft which were available into camouflage pattern.
Okay.
After this was over, then I was detailed for FSC duties, and I went to Champ Joria sector. Okay, that is Akhnur, close to Jammu, ahead of Jammu.
Yes.
A very sensitive area. It was in news in 1971 war.
Yes.
The enemy was coming in from there.
Yeah.
So it was our unit's responsibility to carry out close air support missions in that particular area. So I was sent there as a forward area controller.
Okay.
And I still recollect standing, at the bank of Manavartavi River and we were being briefed by General Ian Cardozo, who was one of the formation commanders. He was a famous general who had lost a leg in the war and
Yes,
had
correct.
a wooden leg.
Wooden leg. Yeah.
Wooden leg. So I would say that the entire atmosphere was quite amazing. It was quite a warlike scenario, and we all learnt a lot, because every evening there were a lot of tales of valor, lot of tales of lot of bonhomie. People would talk, people would tell us stories of their young days, how they learned flying. So I think we learnt a lot during that particular time. So that was my take on Operation Brasstacks.
So moving on, 2001 we had Parliament Attack, which was very serious in terms of the gravity of the attack that happened, because it was inside our vicinity, of course. तब सर एयरफोर्स का रेडीनेस क्या था, क्योंकि इट वाज डायरेक्ट अटैक ऑन अस, तो क्या इन्वॉल्वमेंट था उसमें?
So firstly, I would say, not the gravity alone. Gravity, yes, but look at the audacity. Very audacious.
Correct.
5 people infiltrate Indian Parliament on 13th December 2001 and dare to carry out an attack over there. Of course, all 5 of them were neutralized, but in the bargain, we also lost lives. 6 police people, 2 of the staff workers in Parliament, and 1 gardener. We lost these people. But how could we have the terrorists even dreaming, even thinking of coming up to the temple of our democracy? This in no way can be condoned, and rightfully the government ordered high alert and then thereafter mobilization. It was done for all the 3 services. But remember, Air Force is always the first responder because we are the quickest to react.
Correct.
So now coming back to what did the Air Force do during this particular time, like I just mentioned, we were put on high alert and mobilization was ordered. Okay, augmentation started. That means a lot of people from down south, from training command, they started moving up because we were now getting geared up for a war-like situation. The reserve units moved forward. The ballistic missiles were moved in forward positions. Okay. All the fighter aeroplanes moved out to the forward operating bases. Okay. The readiness levels were really high. And from that time onwards, we also started concentrating on special heliborne operations. Okay, which were being done with the SF forces of Army.
Special forces.
Special forces for Army. This is for carrying out insertions and thereafter neutralizing the forward post or the forward radars. We extensively started mapping Pakistani radars. We started using ISR, satellite imagery, so that we could pinpoint the location of all this particular enemy radars, and if need be, swiftly carry out C-ED or D-ED missions to neutralize them so that we could carry out a punitive strike or punitive strikes inside. Then Air Force started practicing medium altitude level release precision attacks.
Okay. During that period?
During that particular period only. Because the Pakistan's air defense network was quite optimized against the low-level insertions and low-level threats. So we decided that we will practice high-level precision attacks, staying beyond the capability of their radars as well as of their air defense weapon systems. Lot of emphasis on night strike packaging. Okay, right across the entire western border, say from Srinagar downwards up to say Gujarat and Kutch area. Night after night, our aeroplanes used to get from different bases. We used to regroup together in our own territory and thereafter fly towards the Pakistani territory. Armed machines.
Armed machines.
Yes, armed machines. And then thereafter, at night time itself, at pre-calculated distances, we used to turn back and then go back. So Air Force was ready in every possible way for any kind of a green signal by the government. But I think the government had decided at that moment to give to maintain a strong pressure on Pakistan and a sustained pressure on Pakistan, so that they could see the futility of carrying out such or sponsoring
Such attacks.
such kind of attacks in Indian territory. We stayed in that situation for almost about next 10 months. I personally was there in the western sector.
Okay.
For those 10 months we were deployed on that side. And so we were ready for any kind of a green signal from the government.
One move by Pakistan and we could have entered.
Very easily. One move and could have ended. In fact, few things happened. See, first you have to understand the geopolitics of that particular time. Attack happened in 2001. And in 1998, we had carried out nuclear attacks.
Correct.
Both India and Pakistan had carried out nuclear tests. So now both the nations were declared nuclear nations. So the Western world was quite worried that nuclear powered nations should not go to war. So that was one very big bugbear which was there at that time. So there was a lot of pressure from the Americans to hold the horses and not carry out punitive strikes. That is first you have to understand. Also, on 31st October in year 2001, that is just 2-3 months prior to Parliament Attack, there was another attack which had happened in J&K Legislative Assembly.
Correct.
And we had lost about 38 people over there.
Correct.
So there was already a lot of anger that we were in India. So that's the reason why the government also was very strict, and we took all the actions that I just made a mention. And while all this was happening, there was a lot of backdoor diplomacy trying to de-escalate. And then in between there were some other fuses. I think it was 14th of May 2002. We had already got into 5th month of our heightened activation. An attack on Kaluchak happened. Now, Kaluchak is close to Jammu.
Correct.
Where the families of all the soldiers who were deployed in Valley, their families, they stay there. So a dastardly attack happened there, and we lost certain family members. Almost around 25-30 family members were lost. So when this happened, then definitely the pot was boiling over, and it did result in direct action as well in the month of July. In Machal Gurez sector, we had some intel of infiltrators who had come inside our territory. In Neelam Valley, there is a post called Lunda Post. So some of the terrorists, they had gathered there. So when this information reached us, Indian Air Force was tasked, and our Mirages carried out a strike over there, neutralizing all of them.
Interestingly, sir, this was not being known by a lot of people, and the kind of information that we are getting from you is very fantastic, sir. मतलब common civilians को तो ये पता भी नहीं होगा कि ऐसे precision air strike तभी भी हुए थे. तो sir, one question that there are a lot of एंजाइटी अबाउट, हमने कर्नल विनीत सर से भी हमारे पास्ट एपिसोड में ये पूछा था कि स्टूडेंट्स प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर एनडीएस, जो सीडीएस की एग्ज़ाम्स होती है, व्हाट इज़ द वन पीस ऑफ एडवाइस दैट यू वुड लाइक टू गिव इट टू देम?
See, one piece of advice to all the students who are appearing for NDA, CDS is that join this particular line if you are truly interested in adventure, in serving your motherland, and in living a good, disciplined life. Be truthful. Okay. Don't just come here because you're not able to make it into some other entrance exams and you think that it is just a life which is full of fun. Then you are in for a surprise. There is a lot of learning, there is a lot of adventure, there is a lot of action, there is a lot of fun. In fact, the life here is very disciplined and a very good life.
Correct.
I mean, imagine having an office at 25,000-30,000 feet high up in the air, day after day. Where else can you get this kind of an excitement? In fact, the army ads also says, join us if you have it in you. So, my advice to all the people would be that be truthful, keep your hand on your heart, take some time in reflecting, and then thereafter, with a sincere mind, come and join this particular line. You would find that the life here is so good, it will present so many challenges and it will give you so many opportunities that you will be an enriched man throughout and you will always be indebted.
Correct, sir. Sir, Colonel Vinit Dev also emphasized on 3 qualities similarly to what you said: courage, teamwork, and the precision of making the decision. That is something which they look out for. एंड सर कहीं ना कहीं जो रिजेक्शन रेशियोज़ हैं, क्योंकि फॉर एन एग्जांपल 6 या 7 लाख हर साल लोग एंटर करते हैं ये एग्जामिनेशन, उसके 10% ही क्लियर करते हैं एंड फर्दर 10% ही एक्चुअली सिलेक्ट होते हैं. तो सर ज़्यादातर क्या इन योर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ये क्या चीज़ है कि इतना ज़्यादा रिजेक्शन है? एक तो दे आर ओनली लुकिंग आफ्टर द आपके जो जैसे ये बता सकते हैं कि पेपर वर्क या जो एग्जामिनेशन फैक्टर है उसी में सिर्फ कंसंट्रेट करते हैं या कोई और फैक्टर्स भी होने चाहिए उनके?
देखिए, आपने 3 चीज़ें बोली. आपने बोला कि करेज, दूसरा आपने स्किल और तीसरा आपने प्रिसिशन, टीम वर्क एंड प्रिसिशन. Actually, the right word is mindset. Correct. Okay? So, there are 3 things which one is looking at: mindset, the skill, and then third is the courage. I think इन तीनों में से सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ जो होना ज़रूरी है वो है राइट माइंडसेट. देखिए, कोई भी बच्चा बचपन से हवाई जहाज़ चलाना नहीं जानता है, एक गन को हैंडल करना नहीं जानता, एक शिप को हैंडल करना नहीं जानता. मेरे केस में मेरे को तो कार भी चलानी नहीं आती थी जब मैंने एरोप्लेन चलाना सीखा था. तो सीधा साइकिल से एरोप्लेन चलाना सीखा. माइंडसेट का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है और ये माइंडसेट ही है जो हम देखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं एक बच्चे में कि राइट माइंडसेट होना चाहिए. तो जो पहले बोला कि भाई आप ज्वाइन कीजिए अपने दिल पे हाथ रख के, यदि आप में वो माइंडसेट है तो वो अपने आप उजागर हो जाएगा. अब ये माइंडसेट चीज़ क्या है उसको समझना ज़रूरी है. देखिए, माइंडसेट होता है एक बेसिक किलर इंस्टिंक्ट, एक हंटर किलर इंस्टिंक्ट आप में होना. ओके, एक बेसिक छोटी छोटी बात से घबराना नहीं. ओके, आप एक एग्जांपल से समझेंगे. देखिए, कुछ बच्चे होते हैं जो एक घर में एक चींटी को देख के या एक कॉकरोच को देख के भी डर के मारे जो है डाइनिंग टेबल पे खड़े हो जाएंगे. वेरएज़ एक दूसरा बच्चा शायद इतना नहीं घबराएगा. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि भाई उसमें कुछ लोगों के अंदर ये इनहेरेंट चीज़ें होती हैं. कुछ लोग ऐसे होते हैं कि यदि उनका हाथ का हड्डी भी टूट जाती है वो घबराते नहीं हैं. लेकिन कुछ लोग ऐसे भी होते हैं कि फर्स्ट साइट ऑफ द ब्लड उनको घबराहट होती है. कुछ लोगों को हाइट का डर होता है. ओके, वर्टिगो अगर है तो है
फोबिया.
ठीक है, एक फोबिया. कई लोगों को क्लॉस्ट्रोफोबिक फील होता है, वो अकेले एक जगह पे नहीं बैठ सकते हैं. तो ये कुछ एक ट्रेट्स वो सब आपके माइंडसेट के अंदर ही कवर हो जाते हैं. तो यदि आपका माइंडसेट सही है और आप में ये सब कमियां नहीं हैं तब आप इस सर्विस को ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. और यदि आपका माइंडसेट सही होगा, आपकी सोच सही होगी, तो आप अपनी ट्रेनिंग को भी ठीक तरह से अप्रोच करेंगे.
करेक्ट.
तब आप ट्रेनिंग करते हुए भी आप घबराएंगे नहीं, आप एक खुले दिमाग से अपनी ट्रेनिंग की तरफ बढ़ेंगे. और जब आप खुले दिमाग से अपनी ट्रेनिंग की तरफ बढ़ेंगे तो आप वो सब सीख पाएंगे जो आपके इंस्ट्रक्टर आपको सिखाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. और जब आप उसको सीख जाएंगे तो सीख के धीरे धीरे प्रैक्टिस करते 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 आपकी एबिलिटी बढ़ती चली जाएगी और आपकी करेज भी बढ़ती चली जाएगी। सी शुरू में पहली बारी जब जहाज़ शुरू होता है तो आप सब कुछ भूल जाते हैं, इतना डर लगता है। बट धीरे धीरे एक टाइम ऐसा भी आ जाता है कि आपके आसपास 100 जहाज़ रेडी हुए हुए हैं और आप लीडर हैं, आप अपना जहाज़ तो चला ही रहे हैं, आप उन 99 जहाज़ों के बारे में भी कि वो ठीक काम कर रहे हैं नहीं कर रहे हैं उनके बारे में भी सोचते रहते हैं। तो माइंडसेट का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है।
माइंडसेट का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है।
तो अब आपका जो सवाल था कि भाई बच्चों के अंदर ये सब चीज़ें जो हैं डेवलप करने के लिए हम यहाँ पे सिखाने के लिए बैठे हैं, हमारे इंस्ट्रक्टर्स वो सब कुछ सिखाएंगे। आप अपना सही माइंडसेट लेके आइए और हमारी ड्यूटी है चूज़ करना। अब ये हर एक में नई चीज़ें होती हैं और जहाँ पे ये चीज़ें नहीं हो पाती हैं ये एक इंस्ट्रक्टर की जिम्मेदारी होती है कि वो ऐसे वीक इंसान को, ठीक है वो बुरा नहीं है बट उसके अंदर अगर वो कोई कमी है तो ये हमारी जिम्मेदारी है कि हम उसे सही रास्ते पे वापस लाने की कोशिश करें और यदि वो सही रास्ते पे वापस नहीं आ सकता है तो उसे कम से कम सेफ तो रखें, उसे ऐसी लाइन में डाल दें जो उसके लिए बनी है।
सर उसी का फॉलोअप जर्नी है आपकी। चीफ इंस्ट्रक्टर थे आप सर, तो वो जर्नी क्या थी? हाउ डिड यू बिल्ड अप दैट जर्नी?
सो चीफ इंस्ट्रक्टर तो जब मैं बना, आप एक कर्नल लेवल पे, एक ग्रुप कैप्टन लेवल पे जाके चीफ इंस्ट्रक्टर बनते हैं। बट उससे पहले जब आप यंग होते हैं, जब आप 6-7 साल की सर्विस हो जाती है, आपको जहाज़ अपना अच्छा चलाना आ जाता है और आप अच्छे हैं तो आप एक QFI क्वालिफाइड इंस्ट्रक्टर कोर्स के लिए चुने जाते हैं। वहाँ पे आपको बाकायदा ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है कि आप फ्लाइंग ट्रेनिंग एक दूसरे एबनिशियो पायलट को कैसे इम्पार्ट करेंगे। जो बच्चा घर से पहली बार आया है आप उसको किस तरह से फ्लाइंग ट्रेनिंग सिखाएंगे। तो आप उसके लिए एक कोर्स करते हैं और जब आप वो कोर्स कंप्लीट कर लेते हैं फिर उसके बाद में आप यंग बच्चों को एयरफोर्स एकेडमी में आप उनको ट्रेनिंग देना शुरू करते हैं। धीरे धीरे आप भी ट्रेनिंग देते देते बेहतर बन रहे हैं, तो वो बच्चे भी फ्लाइंग सीख रहे हैं और आप भी एज अ ट्रेनर धीरे धीरे आप बेहतर बनते जा रहे हैं। जैसे जैसे आपका अपना एक्सपीरियंस बढ़ता चला जाता है तो फिर आप हायर कैटेगरी इंस्ट्रक्टर, दैट इज़ इनिशियली आप कैटेगरी C इंस्ट्रक्टर होते हैं, फिर जब आपके 75 घंटे इंस्ट्रक्शनल हो जाते हैं आप कैटेगरी B इंस्ट्रक्टर बनते हैं। फिर उसके बाद में कैटेगरी A इंस्ट्रक्टर बनने के लिए आपको और मेहनत करनी पड़ती है। 300 घंटे इंस्ट्रक्शनल ख़त्म होने के बाद में आप कुछ एग्ज़ाम देंगे, आपको टेस्ट किया जाएगा और यदि आप उसमें उत्तीर्ण हो जाएंगे तो फिर आप कैटेगरी A इंस्ट्रक्टर बन जाएंगे। अब ये तो आपका, ये आप इंस्ट्रक्टर रहे, उसके बाद में आप फाइटर स्क्वाड्रन वापस चले गए। जब आप और सीनियर हो गए तो आप फिर से वापस उस एकेडमी में आ सकते हैं एज अ चीफ फ्लाइंग इंस्ट्रक्टर या फिर एज अ चीफ इंस्ट्रक्टर, जहाँ पे आपका अब कार्य होगा कि आप देखें कि सब इंस्ट्रक्टर्स एक स्टैंडर्ड मेंटेन कर रहे हैं कि नहीं, SOPs और मेंटेन कर रहे हैं कि, क्योंकि ऐसा ना हो कि कोई इंस्ट्रक्टर के अंदर ही कोई कमी हो। आपको उनको यू हैव टू चेक द ट्रेनर्स ऑल्सो, ट्रेन द ट्रेनर्स, ओके, एक स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन मेंटेन करने के लिए। तो एज अ चीफ इंस्ट्रक्टर आपकी जिम्मेदारी ये होगी कि पूरी ट्रेनिंग उन यंग बच्चों की सही तरीके से चल रही है या नहीं चल रही है, उन्हें प्रॉपर खाना पीना, स्लीप, फ्लाइंग क्लोथिंग, कपड़े, ओके, बुक्स, रहन सहन सब उन्हें मिल रहा है कि नहीं मिल रहा, और आपके जो फ्लाइंग इंस्ट्रक्टर्स हैं वो भी उनके साथ में फेयर, इम्पार्शियल और सही ट्रेनिंग इम्पार्ट कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे।
सर तो एज एन इंस्ट्रक्टर कॉमन मिस्टेक्स कैडेट्स क्या करते हैं?
इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन। सो जो मैंने ये देखा कि ऐसा कोई एक कॉमन मिस्टेक नहीं है, एक सेट ऑफ मिस्टेक्स के बच्चे जो है वो करते हैं। अलग बच्चे जो हैं अलग अलग तरह के मिस्टेक्स करते हैं, किसी की कुछ स्ट्रेंथ होती है, किसी की कुछ वीकनेस होती है। सो ब्रॉडली मैं ये कहूँगा कि मैंने ये नोटिस किया कि मिस्टेक्स जो है 3 प्रकार की होती हैं। सो पहली मिस्टेक होती थी एक टेक्निकल एरर इन टर्म्स ऑफ हैंडलिंग ऑफ कंट्रोल्स, ठीक है, दैट मीन्स आपके जो कंट्रोल स्टिक है, रडर्स हैं, थ्रॉटल हैं, आप उनको सही तरीके से हैंडल नहीं कर पाते ड्यूरिंग टेक ऑफ लैंडिंग। ओके, आपको जितना उन्हें रोटेट करना चाहिए उन्हें आप ठीक तरह से नहीं हिला पाते, या ड्यूरिंग मैनूवर्स आप गलत इनपुट दे देते हैं जिसके कारण एयरक्राफ्ट जो है घबरा के आप यहाँ इनएडिक्वेट इनपुट देते हैं ताकि वो एयरक्राफ्ट को जो पूरा एक मैनूवर करना चाहिए वो पूरी तरह से कर नहीं पाता। तो ये एक सेट ऑफ मिस्टेक्स होती है जो हमने देखा। दूसरा हमने ये देखा कि जो एरर्स होते हैं वो होते हैं एरर्स ऑफ जजमेंट। ओके, एरर्स ऑफ जजमेंट क्या होते हैं? इनएडिक्वेट सिचुएशनल अवेयरनेस। दैट मीन्स आपको नहीं मालूम कि आप इसमें कहाँ पे हैं।
करेक्ट।
आपको ये नहीं ख्याल उड़ते उड़ते कि आपका फ्यूल कितना बचा है।
करेक्ट।
सी, आप जब हवा में उड़ रहे हैं तो आपका फ्यूल लिमिटेड है।
करेक्ट।
आपको एक्सरसाइज करते हुए अपने फ्यूल का ध्यान रखना है ताकि आप अपने वापस बेस पे जा सकें, और यदि बेस पे कुछ घटना घट गई है तो आप ऑल्टरनेट बेस पे जाके लैंड कर सकें। तो आप अपने फ्लाइंग में इतने एनग्रॉस हो जाते हैं कि आप अपना फ्यूल का ध्यान नहीं रख पाते हैं, या आपकी सिचुएशनल अवेयरनेस, आपको ये नहीं समझ में आ रहा कि मैं इसमें कहाँ पहुँच गया हूँ, गेटिंग लॉस्ट। ओके, तो दैट इज़ अनदर सेट ऑफ मिस्टेक्स दैट हैपन। इसी के अंदर ही, इसी कैटेगरी में अनदर मिस्टेक इज़ कैरिंग ऑन विद इनकरेक्ट अप्रोच। भाई अप्रोच जो है वो आपकी फ्लाइंग की कल्मिनेशन है। आपने जहाज़ उड़ा लिया, सब कुछ जो करना कर लिया, अब आपको जहाज़ लाके ज़मीन पे उतारना है। ये बड़ा क्रूशियल फेज़ होता है। और एक अच्छी अप्रोच जो होती है वो कई फैक्टर्स पे डिपेंड करती है, वेदर, हवा, रनवे कौन सा है, आपका जहाज़ का वज़न कितना है, ठीक है, कितना पेट्रोल बचा हुआ है, कई चीज़ें इस पर डिपेंड करती है। अब वो चीज़ें वेरी करती रहती हैं और आपसे गलतियाँ होंगी अप्रोच पे, क्योंकि आपको एक पर्सपेक्टिव बनाना है। ठीक है भैया, रनवे ऐसा नज़र आना चाहिए लैंड करते हुए। वो थोड़ा वक्त लगता है उसे समझने में, बट आपको सिखाया जाता है हर स्टेज पे कि इस लेवल पे ये गलती हो सकती है, इस लेवल पे ये गलती हो सकती है। आपको उसे रिकॉग्नाइज करना आना चाहिए और उसको करेक्ट करना आना चाहिए। बच्चे क्या गलती करते हैं कि वो उसको रिकॉग्नाइज भी नहीं करते और उस गलती के साथ चले जाते हैं, या रिकॉग्नाइज कर भी लेते हैं कि भाई वो लो ऑन अप्रोच है, तो चलो चल के थोड़ा खींच लेते हैं, जाके लैंड करा देते हैं। ये गलती है। जबकि हमारे यहाँ पे एयरफोर्स में बड़े क्लियर कट डेटम्स दिए जाते हैं। रनवे से लैंड करने से 100 मीटर ऊपर यदि आपका जहाज़ इस कोन से बाहर है, स्पीड इतनी ज़्यादा या इतनी कम, हाइट इतनी ज़्यादा या इतनी कम है, तो आप उसको टर्मिनेट कर दीजिए, दोबारा अप्रोच के लिए आ जाइए।
ओके।
यदि आपके पैरामीटर ठीक नहीं थे तो आपको प्रेस ऑन नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो कुछ वक्त के बाद में आपसे हैंडल करना मुश्किल हो जाएगा, आप नहीं उसे हैंडल कर। सो ये गलती जो है कई लोग करते हैं। एंड लास्ट गलती जो मैंने देखी है वो थी इनएडिक्वेट प्रिपरेशन। इनएडिक्वेट प्रिपरेशन माने सॉर्टी के लिए प्रिपेयर नहीं करते प्रॉपर।
ओके।
भाई हर सॉर्टी में एक मिशन है, एक पर्पस है, आपको उसके लिए अच्छी तैयारी करनी चाहिए। आपके चेक्स प्रोसीजर्स बिल्कुल ठीक होने चाहिए, ठीक है, आपके इमरजेंसी एक्शंस बिल्कुल ठीक होने चाहिए। तो यदि आप अपनी सॉर्टी के लिए अच्छे से प्रिपेयर नहीं करेंगे तो आपके साथ कोई एक घटना, या जितनी भी मैंने घटनाएं अभी आपको बताई हैं वो सभी के सभी आपके साथ घट सकती हैं। तो मैं कहता हूं कि इन सब चीज़ों में से सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट, अगर आप मुझसे पूछिए, सॉर्टी प्रिपरेशन। आपको अपनी सॉर्टी के बारे में खूब प्रिपेयर करना चाहिए। आपके इंस्ट्रक्टर्स हैं, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा, आगे उनसे पूछिए, साथियों से बात कीजिए, बट अपनी सॉर्टी के लिए ज़रूर प्रिपेयर कीजिए। अगर आपने अपनी प्रिपरेशन अच्छी नहीं करी है तो फिर वो सॉर्टी का ठीक होना थोड़ा मुश्किल है।
एंड इट इज़ अ रिस्क ऑफ लाइफ ऑल्सो।
इट्स अ रिस्क ऑफ लाइफ एज वेल, इट्स नॉट वर्थ इट।
सर, लाइफ के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं तो आपने ना हमने ये रिसर्च किया था कि यू टुक वेरियस इनिशिएटिव इन इम्प्रूविंग एयर वॉरियर्स लाइफ एज वेल। उनके फैमिलीज़ की लाइफ इम्प्रूवमेंट करने के लिए बहुत सारे इनिशिएटिव्स आपने लिए थे ड्यूरिंग योर टेन्योर। कुड यू थ्रो सम लाइट ऑन इट?
सी, एवरी AOC, हर कोई ऑफिसर जो एक बेस को कमांड करता है, बेस कमांडर बनता है या AOC बनता है, ये उसकी मॉरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि वो एयर वॉरियर्स और पायलट्स सभी की अच्छाई के लिए, उनकी फैमिलीज़ के लिए कुछ ना कुछ कार्य करें. ये हमारी बाउंडेड ड्यूटी है. सो मैंने जो किया अपनी ड्यूटी की. हाँ, मैंने जो किया मैं वो शेयर कर सकता हूँ आपके साथ में, मतलब कि वो सभी करते हैं, ऐसा नहीं है कि अकेला मैंने ही किया. इसी एयरफोर्स इज़ ऑल अबाउट फ्लाइंग. हम सारे एक ही पर्पज़ के लिए हैं कि फ़्लाइंग अच्छे से हो. फ्लाइंग अच्छे से तभी हो सकती है अगर जो पायलट हवाई जहाज़ उड़ा रहा है अपने दिमाग में ये चीज़ लेके उड़ रहा है कि मेरा जहाज़ बिल्कुल 100% सही मेंटेन्ड है. दैट मीन्स उसके मेंटेनेंस में कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं लिया गया, उसके अंदर फ्यूल कंटेमिनेटेड नहीं है, उसमें ऑयल, ग्रीसेस जो भी पड़ने चाहिए, जो भी स्पेयर पार्ट्स पड़ने चाहिए, उन सब में लाइफ है. ठीक है. विच मीन्स फर्स्टली यू हैव टू इंश्योर गुड मेंटेनेंस एनवायरनमेंट
ऑफ योर एयरक्राफ्ट.
ओके. तो एयरक्राफ्ट की मेंटेनेंस के लिए आप एक अच्छा एनवायरनमेंट मेंटेन करवाइए. नेक्स्ट इज गिविंग गुड फ्लाइंग एनवायरनमेंट. पहला मेंटेनेंस हो गया, दूसरा है गुड फ्लाइंग एनवायरनमेंट. ये नहीं है कि आपके रनवे के आसपास चीलें उड़ रही हैं, बर्ड्स उड़ रहे हैं, क्योंकि अगर वो सब आपके आसपास, अगर लोग एयरफील्ड पे खाना फेंक रहे हैं खुले में, या आसपास के गांव के लोग गंदगी फैला रहे हैं, तो मामूली बात है वहाँ पे पक्षी आएंगे. अब पक्षी आएंगे तो फिर एक्सीडेंट होने का डर है. ठीक है. या स्ट्रे एनिमल्स जो हैं वहाँ पे रनवे स्ट्रिप पे, यदि अगर वहाँ पे स्ट्रे एनिमल्स रनवे स्ट्रिप पे आ जाएं जब जहाज़ लैंड कर रहा होता है हाई स्पीड पे, 100% डिज़ास्टर, एक्सीडेंट होगा ही होगा. तो इसलिए एक अच्छा एनवायरनमेंट. ओके. एयर ट्रैफिक एड्स, नेविगेशन एड्स सारी प्रॉपर हैं, रेडियो सेट काम कर रहे हैं, पावर फेलियर तो नहीं है, जहाँ जहाँ पे लाइट्स होनी चाहिए वो लाइट्स काम कर रही हैं. सो ये सब इज़ पार्ट ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट. तो पहला है मेंटेनेंस, दूसरा है गुड फ्लाइंग एनवायरनमेंट, आपको ये जो है प्रोवाइड, और तीसरा है साउंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. दैट मीन्स जो पायलट फ्लाई कर रहे हैं उनके पास रहने के लिए अच्छे घर हैं, जो बैचलर्स फ्लाई कर रहे हैं उनके रहने के लिए ढंग के कमरे हैं, वहाँ पे अच्छा बेड है सोने के लिए, अच्छा राशन मिल रहा है खाने पीने के लिए उन्हें. ठीक है. कमरे में लाइट एडिक्वेट रात भर, ये नहीं है कि ऐसा रात भर कमरे में लाइट ही नहीं है और अगले दिन आप चाहते हैं कि वो लोग फ्लाइंग करें वहाँ पे. फिर जब आप फ्लाइंग करते हैं कई बार आप ड्यूटीज़ पे चले जाते हैं, पीछे से फैमिलीज़ अकेली हैं, तो उनको फैमिलीज़ को आपका राशन पानी पहुँच रहा है, हॉस्पिटल्स अवेलेबल है कि नहीं है, आपके पास अच्छे स्कूल्स अवेलेबल हैं कि नहीं है. देखिए जो एयरमैन भी जो एयर वॉरियर्स जहाज़ों पे काम करते हैं, अगर पायलट सुबह 6 बजे मिशन के लिए आता है तो ये लोग सुबह 4 बजे जहाज़ पे आके काम करना शुरू कर देते हैं. और पायलट यदि रात को 11 बजे पैकअप करता है तो ये लोग 1 बजे पैकअप करके घर जाते हैं. तो उनके पास में उनकी फैमिलीज़ की सुविधा के लिए अच्छी कैंटीन्स, मार्केट्स, ठीक है, मेडिकल फैसिलिटीज़ एंड एजुकेशन सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट, क्योंकि हम लोग अलग अलग जगह से आए हुए हैं, अपने अच्छी एजुकेशन का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. तो ये हर एक पायलट की ड्यूटी है, हर एक बेस कमांडर की ड्यूटी है. मैं कितना सक्सेसफुल था, मैंने 2 बेस कमांड किए. मेरी पहली बेस में हमें बेस्ट इन ऑपरेशंस ट्रॉफी मिली, एंड दूसरी बेस जो मैंने हिंडन कमांड की वो एशिया की सबसे बड़ी एयर बेस मानी जाती है, जहाँ पे 15,000 से ज़्यादा लोग होते थे, एंड वहाँ पे हमें बेस्ट इन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ट्रॉफी मिली.
सर सेफ्टी मेजर्स, एक मेरा इसी पे एक क्वेश्चन था कि पहले इफ़ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग सेफ्टी ऑफ अ ट्रेनिंग पायलट, जब ट्रेनिंग के दौरान भी जब कोई हादसा हो जाता था तो उसमें कॉम्पनसेशन या ऐसे कोई मैटर्स में कवर्ड नहीं था हमारा फाइटर पायलट, तो उसमें भी ड्रास्टिक चेंज आया है.
यस 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 डेफिनेटली उसमें चेंजेस आए हैं. एंड कंपनसेशन जो है इट्स वेरी इम्पॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज हमारा प्रोफेशन ऐसा है, गॉड हैज़ नॉट मेड अ मैन फॉर फ्लाइंग, इट्स अ एक्वायर्ड स्किल, इट्स अ एक्वायर्ड मोटर स्किल. एंड वेन एवर वी एक्वायर अ न्यू स्किल there are chances of mistakes. Okay, there are mistakes that can happen, or there can be certain failures, technical failures, which can lead to a catastrophe, and that can happen during training as well. So all our cadets and all our instructors and as also all the pilots are all covered under the Flying Pilot Life Insurance Schemes, FPLIs.
Lastly, sir, uh, what was your proudest moment in the uniform, if you remember?
Oh, now this is a tough question because out of my 59 years of existence, अगर मैंने 40 साल यूनिफॉर्म में काटे हैं तो उन 40 साल में एक प्राउडेस्ट मोमेंट को सिलेक्ट करना तो बड़ा मुश्किल है. इफ़ यू परमिट मी कैन आई शेयर मोर देन वन?
एब्सोल्युटली सर.
सो क्योंकि एक से तो ज़्यादा हैं. आई थिंक माई फर्स्ट moment of pride came in my training days when I was adjudged as the best overall cadet during fighter training wing. I got a book prize from my instructor at that time, Wing Commander Paul Uport. Okay, his father had gifted us a book. That book is very close to my heart. अभी तक मैंने अपने पास में book prize रखा हुआ है. इसके बाद next moment of pride came in year 1999 when I got selected to go to Bangladesh and for staff college entrance for staff college.
Okay.
And I once again passed out in year 2000 as best overseas student, and I got the certificate from the then Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in that country for the best overseas cadet, best overseas officer. Next was in 2002, I got the Chief of Air Staff Commendation for writing the first BVR, Beyond Visual Range Fight Manual.
Okay.
उससे पहले हम विद इन विजुअल रेंज कॉम्बैट ही किया करते थे. तो मैंने पहला मैनुअल BVR का लिखा था और उसके लिए मुझे चीफ ऑफ एयर स्टाफ से जो है कमेंडेशन मिला. 10 साल के बाद 2012 में मुझे राष्ट्रपति अवार्ड मिला, Vishisht Seva Medal for Diligence to Duty from Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, who was the Honorable President at that time. Another moment of pride was in 2019. I was in London, posted as the Air and Defence Advisor, and I got an opportunity to be driven in an open horse cart to Buckingham Palace to present myself and my credentials to Her Majesty. She was 93 years old, and I think that was a very big moment of pride for me.
Okay.
And the icing on the cake was in year 2022 during Aero India in Bangalore. Prime Minister Modi was visiting there, and we had put up a lot of stalls. And he came specifically on the Indian Airforce stall, and I was there to brief him. I thought that I'll brief him for 30 seconds, but he had a lot of interest in what I had to say. हम लोग आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के बारे में हमने कुछ अच्छे काम किए थे एयरफोर्स में. प्रधानमंत्री had lot of questions. He asked me, and for next 5 minutes I was talking to him. I think that was a great moment of pride for me.
Wonderful, sir, to see all these achievements. With this, we end our part 1. And thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you, Anjan. Thank you.